The Hennepin County judge overturned the jury conviction of, can you say this name?
Abdefata
Yusuf, a man who stole $7.2 million from taxpayers through Medicaid fraud scheme run out of a P.O. box. So the story centers on Minnesota Judge Sarah West overturning a Hennepin County jury. That's right. A jury found him guilty. Here's what she did. Overturning a Hennepin County jury's guilty verdict against Abdefata Yusuf in a $7.2 million Medicaid home health care fraud case tied to a shell agency called Promise Health Services, which ran out of a P.O. box. So the original fraud case, Promise Health Services, owned by Blaine resident Abdefata Yusuf, billed Minnesota's Medicaid program for home and community-based services despite having no real office and operating from a mailbox address.
What?
State investigators and federal HHS OIG alleged Promise stole over $7 million by billing for services that were never provided. Overbilling, used false documentation, lacking documentation, and paying kickbacks to recipients. With large amounts of money allegedly funneled into Yusuf's personal account and a lavish lifestyle. In August 2025, a Hennepin County jury convicted him on 6 felony counts.
What?
Aiding and abetting theft by swindle over $35,000 and found aggravating factors supporting a stiffer sentence after the Minnesota Attorney General's Medicaid Fraud Control Unit presented evidence tying him to Promise's operation and finances. Jurors told local media, they viewed the fraud as obvious and said deliberations were not difficult given the financial records and testimony about the sham nature of the business. Now, before sentencing, Yusuf's defense renewed a motion for judgment of acquittal, arguing that the state's proof of his personal knowledge and intent was purely circumstantial and left reasonable, innocent explanations. On November 20th, Judge Sarah West issued a 55-page order vacating the jury's guilty verdict and entering an acquittal, holding that the evidence was legally insufficient under Minnesota standard for convictions based mainly on circumstantial evidence. West acknowledged that significant fraud did occur, but found the state had not adequately linked Yusuf himself to that fraud beyond a reasonable doubt, emphasizing that signatures on withdrawals were purported to be his and that there remained a reasonable inference inconsistent with guilt.